Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about getting rid of the pain. And by pain, I'm referring to emotional and mental pain. Now, what I want to point out is that the reason we have that pain, or I should say the reason that we're to this point that we're on now, is because the pain is what brought us to our journey. And when you think about it, would you be here? Would you be making the steps to make your life better? Would you be searching and reaching for a higher level, a better you, the person that you were meant to be if you hadn't gone through this journey? So the fact that certain circumstances brought you to this journey is not necessarily a bad thing. I know we all have different reasons for getting here. But if you can look at it in a way that certain circumstances happen to bring you to where you want to make those self-improvements. But the question here is, what do we do with the pain that those circumstances caused? Because we can forget, we can not look at the past, but it just kind of hangs over you. I was thinking about my own situations over my lifetime that brought me to this point. And I realized that when I was very young, up until the point when my parents got a divorce, life was awesome. It was great. I was just being a kid. And then it seems like things got kind of rough between that point and thing after another. But now, in looking back and looking at where I am right now, I know I probably would not have taken these steps. I probably would have been just hanging out. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. But some of the things that I had to go through to get here, to make my journey, were uncomfortable and stressful and not so fun. So I started thinking about this a lot, and up to the point when things kind of started to collapse, and not to say I didn't have fun growing up, I did things like everybody else did. I had good times, bad times, went through the adolescent things that you go through. But there are certain things that I have trouble forgetting completely. I mean, I don't dwell on them. They are in the past. But I haven't forgotten them. They say you can forgive, but you don't forget. And I kind of just want to forget about it. But for some reason, things keep surfacing. I'm not sure why, but they do. So I realized I'm going to approach it as if it were a death. So that segment of my life where things were not so easy, not so comfortable, I, in my head, thought about it like it was a death, like I buried it. And that left those years open and clean and clear, almost to where I'd look at it as if there was nothing going on during that time. And actually, that made me feel better. That's just one approach that I came to in my own journey. And like I said, it was all those things, and I was one of those that kept kicking and screaming and wouldn't go until things got so much more difficult, till consequently I was forced to stay home and take this journey and look back and dissect and analyze. But now that all is said and done, I look around me and I'm so glad I'm on this journey. I mean, there are things opening up in this world that I never knew existed. I think it's all these things that have happened that have brought us to this point where we are on this path above and beyond status quo, above and beyond our comfort zone. And it's very, very exciting. To be honest with you, I'm very happy where I am right now. But it did take some uncomfortable years, some situations that were not favorable. So would I trade it off and just live status quo? No, I don't think I would. So now it's like trying to figure out how to get rid of the pain that some of that stuff costs you. Even though logically you realize you had to go through that to bring you to your journey, to seek higher levels, to be your best self, to live your best life. So again, it comes down to how do we get rid of the pain? We already lived the situation. We've already gone through it. It's already happened. It's behind us. It's in the rearview mirror. So personally, I think looking at it as a death, and it is a death because your situation, your journey to be a better person, to be your best self, is like a rebirth. It's a new journey. You already suffered the old one. You already roamed around this earth feeling like you were wandering the desert by yourself. But look where it brought you. So get excited for that. It's everything you went through that brought you to this point where you're climbing high. You're climbing higher than most people. I have literally had people say to me, "You've changed, haven't you?" Now, it wasn't any change that I attempted to do. It wasn't on a conscious level. I think it was just internal changes. And I think once all the chaos stops and you decide you're going to move forward and take the steps toward living your best life, I think these changes happen. And later down the road, when you look back at yourself, you can even see the changes within yourself. And that's what makes it so exciting. That's what kind of separates you in improving yourself and living your best life. Age is irrelevant. So long as you're still alive, you can keep taking steps to live your best life. So when you think about it, you were kind of blessed. Yes, you might have felt like you were taking steps backwards and life was difficult, but it brought you to a point where your life is accelerating quickly. You're passing people by who have stayed status quo. And again, that's okay if they found a comfort zone and they want to stay there. But we were uncomfortable. Rarely it's like eating. If we didn't get hungry, we probably wouldn't eat. As human beings, it seems it takes something to trigger us. And if you're here at this point, if you're striving to climb higher, to climb to the next level, to go the next rung on the ladder, something probably in your life triggered you. And it probably wasn't pleasant because it takes something strong to get your attention. But now you've already been there. You've already done it. You're at the point where you're creating a new journey or you're on a new journey, new chapter in your life. You're going to live your best life. You're going to be your best self. And you never know what God has for you in this life. In fact, I want to tell you a story. We talk about how we never know what's right around the corner or what tomorrow's going to bring. And this is something that happened, and this is just how God works. This is just how, when you let life unfold, this is how things happen. And that is, I got an email, and because I have a podcast, I am contacted from time to time with people who want to be a guest on the show because they want to talk about what their expertise is. And somebody contacted me, and their expertise was menopause. So I read what they wrote, and at the end I saw that they signed functional medicine doctor. And I completely forgot about why they were contacting me, what their interest was. And so I wrote back and said, I realize this is off the subject, but I'm looking for a good functional medicine doctor. And I said I was diagnosed with osteoporosis, and the doctors have scared me, acted like my bones are going to crumble to dust any minute. So this person was very considerate, very professional and polite, and wrote me back and asked me more questions. So I answered them via email, and she said, I'm going to pass this on to someone else. Well, then somebody else contacted me. They weren't trying to sell me anything. They were just, again, very professional, very polite, and they gave me some excellent, well, not only did they give me peace of mind by saying, no, your bones don't crumble that easily, but they also gave me some tips on what to do in a very professional manner. And one was, for example, I happen to have a bed frame that has a massage thing on it, kind of vibrates, which I never, ever use. But he said that would stimulate your bones. And so since he said that, I've been turning it on. And I thought, wow, who would have thought that this information would come from a source that I never dreamed of? So what I'm getting at is that when you believe, when you trust, when you're walking in faith and walking in your best life, every day, every minute, every circumstance is exciting. It's so exciting to see what gifts are going to come to you. And they are gifts when things come to you in an unexpected manner. It's like the universe knows what your needs are, and the answer will come to you in a way that you don't even expect, that you're not even looking for. And I certainly wasn't looking for this. I just, like I said, I skimmed through my emails and I happened to see this. And so you just never know where things are going to come from. And that is the exciting thing about life. So if you're to this point in your journey, you probably have already gone through the bad stuff. And so taking the steps to be your best self, to live your best life, and to get excited about what the universe, God, has got for you, because obviously they know what your needs are. It wasn't a mistake that I got this email. It was intended, and it turned out better than I thought, actually. So that's just one example, is when you let life unfold, the exciting things that happen. So I just really want to stress, it isn't a bad thing. You probably went through rough things that got you to this point where you're willing to take the time and the steps to make your life that much better. But what's so exciting is that not only is it going to be better, but you're going to excel. And by that, I mean, there's all different types of people and all different levels, and people are happy at all different levels. But with that being said, it doesn't matter. We're just talking about you right now. And you're going to excel to be the best person that you could be. Live the best life that you can live. Let life unfold. And actually, I give that lesson to myself. But I think there has got to be even more to it. Even more joy. Joy that doesn't weigh you down. Joy without limits. Joy without what you've gone through shackling you, basically. So with that being said, regardless of what you've gone through, remember, it got you to where you are now. It got you to take the steps to live your best life. So now it's about getting rid of the pain. And for me, I just looked at it as if it were a death. That part of my life that had pain was a death. And I am embracing the new me that I can even see changes within myself. And it's exciting because I never knew life could be this way. I never knew we could go so far. I never knew that the old way of living that seemed to be so natural was only a period of time, that there is life a step above that. And I would imagine when you step above that, there are more steps. And you keep going and going and going. Now, with the holidays right around the corner, I just would like to say that I know for some people that the holidays can be a difficult time. I wanted to point out one time I was in training for a job and it was New Year's Eve. So when I got out of my training, by the time I got home, my roommate and another friend had already gone out. So basically, I had nothing to do on New Year's Eve. So I went to a church. And do you know, to this day, it is one of the most memorable New Year's Eves I've ever had. Because I think the time that you are alone, you're not really alone. It's time for you to really reflect. And what better time is there to do this but the holidays? It's a time of new beginnings. So get excited. I'm excited. I'm excited that I can see change in myself. And I hope you look at yourself and see the change in you as well. And there's still more to go. I realize that we're always growing. So long as we're alive, we're always growing. Or we should be anyway. And like I said, age is irrelevant. Just set that aside and be focused on being your best self and climbing as high as you can go. And when that all happens, I don't think you will dread the holidays or anything else because of the joy you're going to feel on the inside. So regardless of what you've gone through, think of it as it got you to where you are now. It got you motivated. I know, and I don't mean to make light of anything because I know that some things are more devastating than other things. But I want you to look at where you are right now on your journey and think that it took a lot of circumstances to get you are right now. And bravo for you that you chose to take this opportunity, to take this time, and to make yourself better after having gone through what you went through. You took the positive results because we have a choice when we go through things. We can either, for one, self-medicate, we can have a pity party, or we can move on. With that, I'd like to say congratulations, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.